Morning, kids. It's good to be here with you again, and hope you've had a good week. At least we've had pretty good weather most of the week, so hopefully you've been able to get outside for a bit. So this is the Kraft Corner again, and today we're doing some crafts to do with bugs, because the lesson has a lot to do with the plagues that were brought upon Egypt when they wouldn't let Moses and the Israelites leave. And the plague included a lot of things like locusts, which were like grasshoppers or crickets, and different bugs that came in. And of course, a few little bugs here and there are, in fact, some bugs are good, but a few little bugs are okay. But when you get thousands and thousands of them, they are terrible. And so we just thought we would do a craft with some bugs. These ones are kind of cute. There's different ones. There's I did a ladybug, and this one, I don't really know what this is, but anyways, it's just to give you an example of different ones that you can make. And I will make one along with you. But you can definitely, like I said, make them different colors, different shapes, and just have fun with it. So all you need is construction paper, a pair of scissors, a marker, and a glue stick. So the first thing you would do is we're going to do the bug. So decide what color you want your bug. I'm going to make like a little ladybug, so I'm going to use red. And you take a piece of construction paper. This size is good. If you want to make a really big bug, you can use the really big construction paper. I'm using this size. Anyway, so what you do, we have to fold this in half. So this is where you have to decide. If you're going to make kind of a chubby little one, like a ladybug, then you would fold it in the smaller part, like this, sort of a fatter one. If you're going to make a long, thin one, then you need to fold it lengthwise. So you decide at this point, but you fold it in half. I'm going to make one like this, so I'll fold it in half, like that. So, okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to cut right along that fold that you had. Cut along there. All right. So now you have two pieces. Now we're going to fold each of these in half again. And once again, if you're going to make a little fat little guy, then we're going to fold it this way. If you're going to make it a thinner guy, you would fold it that way lengthwise. But I'm doing it widthwise. Okay, so now we've got two pieces of paper like this. They look the same. And you just tuck one piece inside the other. So the fold goes with the fold. So you put it in, so kind of it looks like a little book almost. It's almost like a book with pages. That's the way you want it, okay? And you fold it all up. Now we're going to draw the body. And so you would just draw either a circle if you want something round like a ladybug, or if you want something more like this, then you would draw something that is more lengthwise, like you'd make it a longer body. And you want to draw it from the line, from the fold. Don't do it up here where you have the cut parts, from the fold. I actually use a cut. I'm really bad at drawing circles, and I wanted him to be, the bug to be kind of straight. So I'm going to do use this, and we're just going to do a half of what you're going to do. So a half of a circle or a half of an oval right along the folded line. So I'm going to place my cup so it's like halfway, and then take a marker or a pen. I'll use a pen for this part. The marker is kind of dark. And just trace it or draw it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but mine are always so bad. So now you have it like this, okay? And then you're going to cut it. So we can do a quick cut. So now you would have two like this, two circles like this. And you, again, just place them inside each other, again, almost like a little book, okay? And you can just put that to the side now. Next, we're going to do the little head. So I use black for that, but again, you can use any color you want, okay? And you can decide, this one has a little tiny head, this one's kind of got a longer round head. What I did to make sure that my head kind of fit properly is I just took my wings and I kind of put the paper by it. So it just gave me an idea of what I could draw so that it kind of fits better. So I don't know if you can see it, it's just kind of a little corner like this. But like I said, you can make it round, you can make it oblong, you can make it even pointy if you want to. I mean, bugs come in all shapes and sizes. They're very unusual looking if you look at bugs, especially under a magnifying glass. So this is what I have now, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these wings and I'm going to glue them onto the head. So actually you take these apart now and you have the two folded parts together and you put them, you're going to glue them onto the head so that those two folds are side by side, okay? So I'll try to show you here. Here's the head. We put, take your glue stick, put a little bit of glue along the bottom there, and then take one of these folded and you're going to do it halfway like that. There's your fold is on the inside, and then you take the other part and match it up there and put that there, okay? And then you can just leave that to the side to let it dry for a bit. Now we're going to make the leaf that they sit on, and here again you can make any kind of leaf you want. As you can see, these two leaves are quite different. So for that you can take, I took green because that's the color of a leaf, and you're going to fold it in half. Again, you can fold it either this way if you have a smaller bug, or if you have a long one, you're going to want the longer way. I'm going to do it the longer way anyway. Fold it in half, and then we're just going to draw half a leaf from the folded edge. And here you can make it really simple. You know, you could just go really simple and just go down. That would be okay, but if you want to get fancy, you can make anything you want. Leaves come in all different sizes and colors too. So I'm just going to, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do, and then at the end, I draw sort of a bit of a line. That way it gives it a bit of a stem. This one didn't have a stem. I kind of liked it with a stem better, so you would do a stem. So you would have this, it's your half your leaf along the fold, and now we're going to have to cut along here. Cut it all along the edges, and then I open it up, and now we have kind of a nice leaf, right? So then, lay your leaf down. So what we're going to do now is we're going to glue the bug onto the leaf. So this way is up to you. You can do it sideways, upside down, whatever way you want. So you would just put some glue. Maybe I'll help this guy go sort of straight on there, so just put some glue on there. Stick your bug on, whichever way you want. All right, there we go. Then I'm going to take a black felt, black marker, and I'm going to draw, he needs some antenna, pretty easy, just little lines with dots on the end. A line, you can do whatever you want here. If you want to make legs for your bug, you can. You can just do this kind of thing. You know, there's so many different kinds of bugs and they all look different, so if you want to do them, you can. All right, then you can draw a face on here. Here, if you have googly eyes, you could even glue some googly eyes on it, or here I used a white and then a little dot. Here I'm just going to use, there are the eyes. And now the only thing left to do is decorate the wings, and as you see, they kind of look like wings now the way they are. This one I did stripes. This one, because I'm making this look like a ladybug, I'm just going to do dots. Once we've done all that, then this is what you'll end up with. You can have, as you can see, we have, whoops, ladybug, and then this is kind of, I'm not sure what that is, and this is actually a yellow ladybug, and there are yellow ladybugs. I actually have seen them, so I hope you have fun with them. If you make any of them, take a picture and post it, so I'd love to see what you guys are doing.
Hey guys, so Demon was actually going to show you his collection of bugs that he breeds today, but he just found the idea of being in front of a camera too stressful. He was having a lot of anxiety over it, so I decided instead to talk to you about my frogs. When the physical distancing is all over, maybe your parents can drive you over here one day and he can give you a tour. He loves to show off all his pets, and he knows all the Latin names and scientific facts. He knows a lot. So all of our pets have what is called planted tanks, and that means instead of using stuff like newspaper and paper towel like most people use, our lizards and frogs, they all live on real dirt and moss and plants and such. We try and keep their homes as close to what they would look like if they were in the wild. Damien breeds a bunch of bugs called isopods. They come in all different colors. I think some are purple, and he puts a lot of them in the different tanks. They live in the dirt and they eat the stuff like the mold and the poop, and they keep the tanks pretty clean. They're good for the plants, and they're tiny, so you can't really see most of them. Damien also breeds mealworms and superworms, which is actually what most of our lizards and frogs eat. The worms live in a mixture of bran and oatmeal. They get lots of our leftover vegetables and sometimes fruit. They get vitamins and calcium and minerals, so they're actually very nutritious and a lot better for our lizards than the ones I used to buy from the pet store. The only bugs we actually buy now are worms from Westside. They normally sell them for fishing, but our frogs love them. There are 5 frogs in our house. Damien has 2 chubby frogs, which you never see because they live at the very bottom of the tank underneath dirt. They originally come from Southeast Asia, and they usually live on the forest floor and in rice fields. He also has a Pac-Man frog, which is actually a pretty intimidating frog with very sharp teeth. He rips the worms in two sometimes, so I definitely don't want to get my fingers anywhere near him because he could draw blood. He doesn't move a lot either. He likes to bury himself in the dirt. Pac-Man frogs are basically one big head with a really big mouth, and they'll eat just about anything that they can fit in there. My frogs are the cute and friendly ones. I had one as a kid called Silly Putty because they're great at sticking to walls and glass. They have many different names. White's tree frogs, which is named for the guy that discovered them, not their color. Australian green tree frogs, and dumpy frogs, because in captivity people tend to overfeed them and they keep them in really small tanks. No exercise and overeating makes both humans and pets fat. They come from Australia and New Guinea. They like warm, wet, tropical climates, so I need a heat lamp on my guys, and I need to keep it very wet inside. I have a waterfall, but otherwise you need to be spraying the tank, because otherwise the frogs can dry out. Unlike Damien's frogs, which have small cages, because they burrow, they don't move around a lot, my guys need a much bigger tank, because they love to hop around. They also like to climb, so they need really tall tanks. And these guys can live about 16 years if they're cared for properly. They have little sticky discs on their fingers, which are also webbed, which is why they can climb so well. They can change colors depending on temperature and humidity, which is really cool. So most of the time they're kind of a brown, but they can actually turn like bright emerald green. You can actually get some varieties that will turn a blue color, and some of them even get white spots on their back. They're very docile and they're not very scared of humans, which is why they used to be sold as pets a lot. They're nocturnal, which means they prefer to sleep during the day and come out in the evenings. They don't usually use their tongues to eat, like you see a lot of the other frogs do. They usually use their hands and just kind of stuff mouthfuls in. They're not very coordinated, so my guys constantly miss their food and they just get like mouthfuls of plants and dirt, and then they have to spit it all back out again. This is Owen, who I can hold pretty easy. I also have Quill. Quill likes to hide behind my waterfall, which makes him very wet and slippery and hard to catch, so I don't hold him very often. When I first got Quill, he was quite a bit smaller because he was pretty young, so I was feeding him lots and lots and lots so he would get to the same size so I could have him in the same tank. But he started getting really fat instead of bigger, so that's when I realized he's actually a male, and males stay quite a bit smaller than the females. This is Owen, who is a female, so she's quite a bit bigger than him. She's brown right now, but she can turn bright green. They have kind of little folds behind their eardrums, those little circles, and that's how you can tell how much weight they have. If they have no fold, then they're too skinny, and if you can't even see that eardrum, then that means they're way too fat. So Owen's a pretty good size here. Because Quill's a male, he can get really noisy. He's been pretty quiet for the winter, but before in the summer and the fall, he was getting very noisy and croaking anytime someone talked, or we turned on the vacuum cleaner, or the neighbors had the weed eater on, and he'd start croaking away. I'll see if I can find a clip of him. I think that's about it for today. So enjoy the video of our frogs and bugs, and we'll see you next week.
As you trust in God with all your heart, He will see you through, He will never part. His plans for you are good, you know, and it all begins when As you trust in God each and every day, He will see you through, help you find your way. He is always good and He stays the same. He will never leave and He knows your name.